I work for BirdLife Australia's Birds on Farms program. We work with rural landholders to protect woodland birds. 1 in 5 woodland bird species is either listed as threatened or in significant decline. The main reason for this decline is loss of habitat, particularly in farming land due to agricultural practices, which has cleared a lot of vegetation in the past. We want to protect and restore woodland habitat in the agricultural landscape and work with landholders to ensure that the habitat we're providing for birds also benefits farms by improving productivity. The Birds on Farms program started in Victoria in 2017 and has since expanded to several states across Australia. Historically, we have mostly focused on the bird monitoring as part of Birds on Farms, but in the past few years we've expanded and we have an on-ground restoration component, working with landholders to identify what restoration they can do to provide habitat for birds and other wildlife. We would have over 400 landholders involved at the moment. We probably have around a similar number of birdwatching volunteers, which is pretty amazing. People are keen and want to go out and help out and do surveys on properties. We're really grateful for the contribution they make. They play a vital role in helping BirdLife protect Australia's woodland birds through the program. The training workshops that we do, we also provide general information on what landholders can do to create more bird-friendly habitat. And we also teach them how to identify birds so that way they can start spotting birds around the property. That can help empower them to be stewards of their property and feel like they're doing something towards conservation. We have what we call a mentorship arrangement with a lot of our properties, so where we have the volunteer birdwatcher going out with the landholder and they do the surveys together. Allows them to see the importance of their property, how their properties might fit in the bigger picture of providing habitat for birds and conserving woodland bird species.
It's fantastic to know there are that many birds here and that some of the work I've done has probably increased the numbers. I think farming and environment go hand in hand. We farm in an environment and we all want to make that sustainable and look after it.
The essence of Birds on Farms can be broken down into 3 main areas. The first is engagement, getting out there and meeting people in the community and trying to enhance their sense of stewardship over the environment that they live and work on.
The other part is monitoring, so we have a national monitoring program, and that's about pulling together data from these private properties so that we can understand the biodiversity value that private land actually brings to the table. And the last bit is trying to get the lessons from that monitoring and put it back into habitat restoration.
So we take the data from the monitoring program and we use it to guide landholders about the habitat characteristics or land management practices that they can apply on their own properties to increase wildlife.
What we might include in our habitat plans include things like planting out paddocks or resting paddocks to allow for regeneration, carrying out fencing to exclude stock and allow for plantings to occur, so creating things like corridors and shelter belts. Also dam restoration, planting out dams. The Birds on Farms program can not only help birds but have benefits on farms as well. So the restoration projects that we identify and implement, like creating shelter belts, they're going to create shelter for stock and they provide windbreak as well for paddocks. Corridors and plantings can be really important for erosion control and also for promoting beneficial insects and pollinators. The birds that are encouraged into these areas are very good at controlling pest insects as well. So there's a lot of benefits. We've found through the research that we've done and analysis that woodland birds have responded very positively to restoration efforts over the years. The data is very important, so we feed a lot of our findings back into these habitat plans and identifying priority areas for habitat creation and restoration.
Well, BirdLife Australia's Australia's only national bird conservation charity. We try and work with not just our bird lover supporters, but with all levels of society, from government to local communities, the resources sector, the farming sector. We have a lot of incredible people doing such amazing work to protect our birds and improve the populations of our native birds. And we need to let people know the situation that our birds are facing, because across Australia, our birds are facing an extinction crisis. Woodland birds are really one of my favourite group of birds, but the birds that I really love are also the ones that are in real trouble. We've got critically endangered woodland birds like the Regent, Honeyeater and swift parrot, but other birds like grey-crowned babblers, hooded robins, brown treecreepers, birds that were actually quite common when I was a kid, have just continued to decline right across both eastern Australia and in the southwest as well. We're at this critical juncture where things could fall off a cliff very quickly, and we know that our Australian birds are facing an extinction crisis. Birds on farms has become a really valuable project, and I'm really hoping that it continues and rolls out further, and we see that interconnection between land managers and between bird lovers, because there's a lot to learn on both sides.
So we're just trying to create a balanced system where we work with the environment. It's a pretty small sacrifice, really, for unproductive land, that has a huge benefit for the ecosystem. And, as a farmer, we've got to work with it, not against it. So that's sort of, I think, the way of the future, really.
I feel very proud of what we've achieved so far. Just the amount of properties that we've been able to get involved has been really amazing and just so encouraging to create a better future for woodland birds.
Almost 90% of the woodland in the southeastern part of Australia has been lost, so just anything we can do at all to reverse that trend, even stop that trend, is really important. And when you come out and see, areas like this where people are dedicating a lot of work, a lot of their own money, a lot of their own time into really trying to reverse that negative trend, it's a great privilege to be involved in a program.
By improving habitat for our woodland birds, we're helping to create healthier agricultural landscapes and a better future for everyone.